I'm
I did my edges and everything for you, Emma. Come on now.
these are things that I've only learned about in the last couple of years since I started getting my hair braided.
Yeah.
And I was literally just talking to so I've got this new band that
Uh-huh.
I'm doing my release party
Okay.
with on the 6th of
Yep.
August, side note.
Uh-huh.
And they are constantly telling me that I am black. And I'm like, I can't claim that. I can't. And long story short, my bassist, I love him dearly. I refuse to say certain words in
Uh-huh.
life.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So I've started calling him Nigel
Uh,
just because it makes my soul happy
uh-huh.
and really emphasizes the fact that I can't say things
Uh-huh.
because I don't have the history or anything. Anyways, I said it to say, we're also talking about like when I first moved to this country, I was asked if I was a nun,
Oh,
didn't know
oh,
any.
girl.
And then,
You're
like
funny.
another, well, no, I just didn't
I
know.
assumed that you were black. I assumed that you were like me, Hispanic and black, because we have the same hair texture. And like,
And
I was like, oh yeah,
that's
she
a
Afro
whole,
Latina.
that's a whole
And then I
other,
heard you
a
talk.
whole other kettle of fish,
I'm like, oh,
because
different fruits.
I was also told at one point that I have nappy hair, and I thought I was like really confused,
No,
but because
you
in
got
New Zealand,
3C hair.
I don't know what either of those things mean because in New Zealand a nappy is a diaper.
Oh, right.
So, anyways,
You got
about
diaper hair.
hair, right? I'm like, okay,
You're
and
funny.
then yeah, the whole like I remember asking somebody, and I felt like such a fool. I was like, I said to this woman, like, you've done something. How did you change your hair so differently today?
Uh huh.
And she just goes, baby girl, it's a weave.
Uh huh.
And I was like, what is that?
Oh
I didn't know. I
no.
was like 3 years in. I was
Yeah.
busking. I was like, you look at me. Like, I love what I don't understand. Please explain to me what's going on. But it wasn't until I got my hair braided for the first time that somebody explained to me what edges are.
Oh yeah. See, I'm Puerto Rican. I've never had braids or weaves or anything like that because my mom is Puerto Rican. So, doing the baby hairs
Right.
is whatever the
I
Puerto Rican
just,
side is. You funny.
I didn't know.
And you're learning and it's
Every
beautiful
day.
every
Does
day.
this make me a bad person?
No, it makes you learning about culture in different ways in this very like intimate way. It's perfect. It's perfect. I mean, going to another country and looking like a lot of like you have the look and so do I and so does a
yeah,
lot of other people. You know what I mean? It's called racially ambiguous
yes,
and you can go into any culture and feel almost at home because people will claim you quickly
right,
based on how you look. And then
correct.
when you have a joyous affect, it doesn't matter what your accent is. It doesn't matter then like
I'm
who
just
where you
part of the
came from.
family.
You are just now part of the family. Like,
Yeah,
you're one of us.
yeah,
Claiming.
yeah.
It's just called claiming.
There's an actor from New Zealand, Timaweda Morrison. He's very famous and like he's in all the like Mandalorians and
Mhm.
all the Star Wars stuff, whatever. He's the same way.
Uh-huh.
And my mum, I remember, used to say, "Oh, because he's racially ambiguous," and she would say it like it was a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
Like racially ambiguous was an insult
Oh,
almost.
it's a great
But
thing.
I'm now realizing it's because she was a white American.
Ah.
And so there's all these things that I came to this country thinking I knew because I was coming at it from a white American perspective.
Yeah.
None of my family in America are of darker pigment.
Yeah.
All
Huh.
of Norwegian
Yeah.
or Persian.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I
Anyways,
think it's a beautiful I love
that's why we get along.
I love us.
Yes,
I love
guaranteed.
us.
Okay, chapter 4, questions.
So, what I'm reminded of is like, okay, I was telling you just before we started recording that I am in this world. I am a songwriter. I know a lot about the learning process.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but even still, here's what I love about this book so far is that even though I am in this world and know a lot about what you're talking about,
Mm,
your perspective and your stories and songs connected to this is really what's making me as a songwriter and already someone as a songwriter think of myself as a new songwriter. Interesting. I did not think that was going to happen. And so now I'm thinking, okay, what if I approach this book as someone who has never written a song, never written a poem, and just really actually go through these steps and just think, okay, I'm going to do this process. Now, what is going to change about my own songwriting when I go through this process? So I would like, okay, even someone who has been writing since they were a toddler, like
Mhm.
you know what I mean? What could or be augmented through going through yell out the thing that you're feeling, the thing that you think you're feeling, or you can regain your power. And
Mm.
that's what this is about.
Yeah.
And I think that is just so awesome.
Thank you. I think so. Two things come to mind as you're saying this. One is the philosophical argument, right? Like, we think we know things every day. Do we really know things?
Yeah.
And I think that's part of this, even as I'm rereading it, I'm realizing, oh, I have a new perspective on this particular chapter or this particular sentence. I did a podcast episode the other day with a guest of mine who showed me a highlighted line he had, highlighted in the physical
Mhm.
book. He's like, oh, this means a lot to me. And as I was looking at it through his eyes, it shifted my perspective on what that stanza was about.
Mhm.
Um, so it's that whole thing of, wouldn't it be wonderful if we could constantly come back to our own work, our own thought processes,
Mhm.
our own emotional landscapes, and think, do I actually know what's going on here, or is there something else
Mhm.
beneath the surface
Mhm.
that is going on that that I haven't even that's so far out of my periphery that it hadn't even occurred to me in this way, which I think is a really cool
Yes.
aspect, right?
Yeah.
But on the other hand, on a more maybe woo woo perspective, it's like we have this opportunity as humans, for the everyday human, not just for songwriters.
Mhm.
But when we come at this from the perspective of everything we write has limitless potential,
Yes.
there is limitless opportunities for us to rewrite our narratives,
It's an
to
energy.
rewrite, yeah, and to decide for ourselves what is it that we're trying to express, what is it we're trying to call in, what is it that we're trying to connect with, what is it that we wish we could say, can we say it in a different way? Like, there's just all these amazing go deep with it, which it
Mhm.
sounds like you
Yeah.
are kind of
Yeah.
up for the mission
And
of.
then the other thing I was thinking of, just being an educator for you said the
Girl,
25 years thing, and I was like, "Oh my god.
yeah.
We've been doing this." I mean, we're so young.
I
We've been
mean,
doing
yes,
it
we
since we were
are.
toddlers. But
This-
you talk about the 4 steps of the learning process.
Mhm.
So funny, there are so many models that are brain-based models on the learning process, and everyone gets at the same thing. What I've learned, as an educator, step 1 is the hook, step 2 being the knowledge part, the getting the information, 3 being the practice part, try, fail,
Mhm.
and 4, showing people what you know and possibly teaching people what you know. And different words. So
Mm.
it's like anyone who is really coming to this as an educator, whether they teach music or whatever, teaches other people, will recognize this process, not even just you put it in bullet points, got the knowledge, we're going to try some things, we're going to write our own things,
Yeah.
and then put it into practice. It makes me very excited for chapter 5.
Well, thank you. I'm excited about it. And as you continue into these chapters, not just thinking about the hook and the content and the practice, another way you could potentially look at it as your mammal brain, your reptilian brain, and your thinking
Mm.
brain. Because especially in 2026, when we're so much more aware of how different brains work,
Yes.
or at least it's becoming a lot more common conversation,
Right.
right? And so that was another sort of hope with this book, was to help people understand how much this can tap into whether you're a more emotional learner, whether you're a more practical learner. Like
Mhm.
there are so many ways that we can do that. So
Yeah.
yes, let's dig
All
in.
right. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Woo! Do. Let me hit stop on that one. Here we go.
Stop it up, stop, 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 stop.
Does it distract you to going at the same time?
No, I like it.
All right. Once you see red, you're ready to go.
It's almost like a recording studio. Who let the dogs out? Huh, 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 huh. Who let the dogs out? Processing and working through your emotions. Why processing matters. Okay, I know this might sound a little bit strange, but I want to take a moment to applaud you. You've made it to chapter 5, which means you haven't just sat with your emotions, you've also taken the time to name them with clarity and intention. And that is huge. Most people don't get this far. Let's be honest, suppression is easier. It's the default. But here you are showing up for yourself, and while it might feel like you're taking baby steps, estimate the power in that. One of my favorite sayings is no matter how slow you're going, you're still doing laps around everyone on the couch. Naming your feelings might seem like a small thing, but it builds momentum, and momentum leads to the next. Because we're not just here for awareness, we're here for transformation. Naming your emotions is the beginning, but the real shift happens when you start to process them. When you take the raw chaos, the grief, the anger, the fear, the stress, and the heartbreak, and begin sense, but makes you stronger. Emotion is energy in motion. And what do you do with that energy? That is what does your healing. That's where music steps in, not just as a form of expression, but as your guide, your creative weapon, your healing ritual, your blueprint for becoming more fully and unapologetically you. Now, emotions gives you clarity. Processing them gives you freedom. It's the difference between the storm inside you and learning how to dance in the rain. Music allows you to take what's intangible, anxiety, heartbreak, guilt, something tangible, a melody, a rhythm, a lyric, a breath, a release. You're not just venting, you're creating. You're not just coping, you're not just surviving, you're healing. End of this chapter, you learn how to process emotions in a way that allows for true healing, understand how music rewires emotional responses and helps regulate your nervous system, explore how movement, breathing, and vocalization help release emotions, and use songwriting as a tool for empowerment, transforming raw emotion into clarity, resilience, and strength. Why you need to process and reframe emotions instead of suppressing them. We've already established that bottling up emotions doesn't make them disappear. It just pushes them deeper underground. But let's take it a step further. Unprocessed emotions don't just sit quietly in the background. They show up, often with force, in your body, your relationship, your decisions, and your creativity. Think of it like this. Unresolved grief can mask suppressed anger might settle into your shoulders as tension or migraines. Anxiety can hijack your nervous system, keeping you in fight or flight mode and shutting down your ability to create, connect, or even just breathe deeply. And let's not forget, stress absolutely is the voice. If you've ever felt like your voice tightens under pressure or disappears in moments of emotional overwhelm, a coincidence. But here's the good news. Neuroscience research from the NIH, Harvard, and the American Psychiatric Association backs that creativity, that's right, But here's the good news. Neuroscience research from the NIH, Harvard, and the American Psychiatric Association backs what creators have known intuitively for music helps. Specifically, engaging in songwriting or other creative expression rewires your response to stress. It creates a safe way to release trapped emotions, reframes pain into purpose. It creates a safe way to release trapped emotions, reframes pain into purposeful expression, especially with the right coaching, helps regulate the nervous system, and brings the body back into balance. Think about an emotion you've been holding. Where do you feel it in your body? A tight chest? A pit in your stomach? Tension in your jaw or shoulders? Don't rush to fix. Just notice. See it. Name it. Respect it. Because emotions are messengers, not problems. The deeper roots. How early experiences shape emotional processing. Let's go deeper. Many of our Many of our emotional triggers aren't just about what's happening now. Sorry. Many of our emotional triggers aren't just about what's happening now. They're echoes from the past. And in many cases, those echoes are shaped by experiences we didn't even recognize as traumatic at the time. Enter ACEs, adverse childhood experiences. Research originally conducted by the CDC and Kaiser Permanente in the mid 1990s revealed something powerful. Childhood adversity doesn't just affect you in the moment, it rewires your nervous system, shapes your beliefs about the world, and increases your long term risk for health, relationship, and emotional challenges. And I'm not just talking about bad memories, getting easily triggered, or what some mommy and daddy issues, a particularly unhelpful term, but I digress. The research points to real measurable outcomes: chronic illness, asthma, and diabetes, mental health struggles, substance use disorder, eating, relationships, career stability, and emotional regulation, and increased risk of revictimization and reduced life expectancy. Here's the catch. Trauma doesn't have to be extreme to count. The ACEs study adversity. Following section discusses trauma, including references to abuse, neglect, and violence. Please take care as you read and skip ahead if needed. Here's the first one. Non-accidental harm inflicted on a child, such as bruises, or adult living in your home who swore at you, insulted you, put you down, or acted in a way that made you feel afraid that you might be physically hurt. The third is when an adult, relative, family friend, or stranger who was at least 5 years older than you touched or fondled your body in a sexual way, forced you to do the same to them, or attempted to have any type of sexual intercourse with you. The fourth is physical neglect, the failure of a parent or caregiver to provide the basic necessities for a child's being, such as food, clothing, shelter, or medical care. The fifth is emotional neglect, a parent or caregiver failing to provide a child. The fifth is emotional neglect, a parent or caregiver failing to provide a child with the emotional support, attention, and care that they need to thrive. The sixth The sixth is a household member with substance use issues, living with someone who's abused. My, the sixth is a household member with substance use issues, living with somebody who abuses alcohol or drugs. The seventh, a household member with mental illness, living with someone who has a serious mental illness. The eighth is parental separation or divorce, experiencing the separation or divorce of parents. The ninth is having an incarcerated household member living with somebody who has. 10th is witnessing violence, exposure to domestic violence or other forms of violence. These experiences don't just live in your past, they can live in your body until you do the work to process them. This isn't about blame, it's about understanding. Sorry, I'm going to redo that. These experiences don't just last, they can live in your body until you do the work to process them. This isn't about blame, it's about understanding. Because once you understand where your emotional patterns come from, you can break the cycle. And here's the even better news: healing isn't just possible, it can actually be an enjoyable experience. Songwriting can be the catalyst. Whether you've experienced one ace or several, your experiences are valid. Your pain is real, but so is your resilience. So is your voice. So is your ability to turn that pain into something profound: a song, truth, a release. And that is what this chapter is all about. Your brain is not fixed. Neuroplasticity means your brain can change, rewire, and heal. And music is one of the most powerful ways to do that. Singing as a somatic and scientific tool. Golly. Singing as a somatic and scientific tool. Research from Taylor and Francis and the NIH shows that singing can help individuals process adverse childhood experiences by providing a safe, expressive outlet for emotion. It supports emotional regulation, enhances social connection, and promotes relaxation, all of which are essential for healing from trauma. The vagus nerve connection. One of the most powerful ways singing helps us heal is through the vagus nerve, the body's built in calming switch. This nerve runs from your brain to your heart, lungs, and digestive system and plays a key role in regulating your parasympathetic nervous system, the part that helps you feel safe, calm, and grounded. When you sing, you naturally engage deep, steady breathing, activate vocal vibration and resonance, and stimulate the vagus nerve. This stimulation triggers a physiological shift from fight or flight to rest and digest, lowering cortisol, your stress hormone, and increasing oxytocin, your connection and calming hormone. The result: reduced anxiety, improved heart rate regulation, and more emotional stability, all just from using your voice. Deep breathing for singing. Breath is life. It's the first thing we do when we enter the world and the last thing we do before we leave. But in between, most of us forget how to breathe. When we're overwhelmed or anxious, our breath becomes shallow and fast, telling our brain that we're in danger, even if we're not. This keeps us stuck in survival mode, reactive, tense, and disconnected. But when we use our breath intentionally, especially through singing, we're not just calming ourselves down, we're reclaiming control. One note, one inhale, one exhale at a time. Singing trains you to breathe like a warrior. Unlike shallow chest breathing, what I often call damsel in distress breathing, singing activates deep diaphragmatic breath, the kind that anchors your nervous system and strengthens your resilience. It increases oxygen flow and shifts you out of your fight or flight mode. It lowers cortisol, the stress hormone, and releases oxytocin, the connection hormone. It sends a clear signal to your brain: you are safe now. Controlled breath also stimulates the vagus nerve, where it gets really interesting. When you sing, you naturally elongate your exhale, and that's one of the fastest ways to regulate your emotions. Longer exhales activate the more deeply. They help regulate carbon dioxide, preventing hyperventilation and panic. The rhythm of singing mimics the breath patterns of meditation, why it can feel like therapy and prayer rolled into one. Singing frees the body where trauma hides. Body. It shows up as tight shoulders, clenched jaws, a constricted diaphragm, and most of the time, we don't even realize we're carrying it. Singing helps us to. It relaxes the diaphragm and jaw, common areas where trauma gets stored. It vibrates the vocal cords and chest, sending waves of relief through the nervous system. It gives us a safe space to make noise, to move in. Dr. Peter Levine, a pioneer in trauma recovery, teaches that breath and sound are critical to healing trauma. Singing does both, naturally. Mind, body, and emotion. When you sing, you're doing more than just using your voice. You're integrating your entire self. Your body moves, breath and posture. Your brain engages, your emotions emerge, sometimes unexpectedly. This kind of somatic connection allows you to process emotions as they are lost in them. Singing together creates co regulation. When we sing in a group, we co regulate. Breathing syncs up, nervous systems settle, and connection deepens. That's why choir members, places of worship, support groups, and trauma recovery schools often sing together. The shared rhythm creates safety, it dissolves isolation, and it reminds us we're not alone in this. Research in music therapy and polyvagal theory from the NIH, Ohio State University, and the British Holistic Medical Association shows that group singing can significantly reduce stress and increase feelings of belonging. Your turn. Try this. Place one hand on your chest, the other on your belly. Take a breath. Let your belly expand. Now hum a simple now hum a simple melody as you exhale. Feel the vibration? That's not just your voice. That's your nervous system relaxing. That's your power returning. Keep singing. Songwriting helps you process, reframe, and release emotions. If singing is the spark that calms your system, songwriting is the wire that transforms your inner world. Music isn't just something you consume, it's something you create. It's how you shape the chaos, turn confusions into energy. Think about it. Have you ever heard a song and thought, that's exactly how I feel? Felt a lyric punch you in the gut, then somehow lift you up? Played the same track over and over because it made you feel sane? That's not a coincidence. That's your body, brain, and soul processing in real time. The only difference is that's someone else's lyric, story, have the ability to write the narrative yourself. Why songwriting works. Songwriting doesn't just help you get it out, it helps you work through it. It gives your emotions structure, and in doing so, it gives you the power back. Lyrics let you name your experience, reframe the story through you, giving shape to things that words alone can't always touch. Rhythm grounds you, anchoring you in the present, even when your nervous system wants to flee. This isn't about writing a perfect song, it's about writing a true one. Fire away, frustration into strength. When I co wrote Fire Away with my bandmate Chris Young, I was worn down by the pressure to constantly prove myself. As a woman, as a person of color, as a survivor. I felt boxed in, dismissed, like no matter how hard I pushed, it wasn't enough. But instead of saying stuck in the mud, but instead of staying stuck in that frustration, Chris challenged me to lean into it and use it. Not to lash out, but to alchemize it. To process the pain and turn it into power, a fight back song, a rally cry, a reclamation. And something shifted. Gimme everything you got, let's go. Time to come out and play. Go. Gimme everything you got and fire away. Suddenly, it wasn't about being angry anymore. It was about rising. It was about turning into fuel. That's the power of music. It helps you process what you're carrying and shape it into. What's a song that makes you feel strong, grounded, or alive? What emotion do you process, not just express? If you for step 3, but moving through it is where the real transformation. But moving through it is where the real transformation happens. long enough to change it. You're not avoiding it, you're meeting it in rhythm, in lyrics, and in melody. You're giving your emotions a go instead of letting them stay stuck. You're not your trauma, you're not your fear, you're not your anger, you're the storyteller, the the creator of what comes next. Every lyric you write is a breath released. Every melody is a shift. Every chorus song isn't over. You're still writing it. So, what will the next verse say?